a few viewers asked me comparison between my FJ-09 and the Versys. Now the Versys I had for um, 14 months and 9,000 miles. So I've got some time on that, and I haven't really ridden this that much. I'm coming up on 500 miles right now. But the first thing that I noticed right away is the seat. A lot of reviewers have said that it feels too hard and that they need to upgrade it and all that. But yeah, it's firm, but it's not, to me, anyways, it's not uncomfortable. The problem I had with my Versa seat was instead of being flat like this with the curve up, it was had kind of a mound. And so in the center, the foam in the center was a lot more dense than the foam on the outside. So for me personally, with my anatomy, on a long ride, it irritated my tailbone. And so after like 3 or 4 hours or so, I would move around back and forth, and I just could not get comfortable. No matter what I did, that seat just kind of got me, and then it would kind of bother me for a couple of days. I've not had that issue on this bike. I mean, could the seat be better? Yeah, probably. And if I do an upgrade eventually, I'm kind of leaning towards the Corbin seat. And the reason for that is because the Corbins are leather, and you can get them customized in different colors. And the color one that I had in mind, it's kind of a gray similar to the color of my gas tank, and then it's going to be leather stitched, and then the side is going to be kind of a ballistic nylon carbon fiber type of look. So it'll kind of kind of match with the fake carbon fiber look that the bike already has. So, but that's $500, and having already spent some money buying this thing, and then another 400 to repair it after my little mishap. I may wait for a little while because the seat is just not a big option. It's just not a big priority. The next thing that I may consider is a different windshield. A lot of reviewers have complained about the windshield. I kind of don't really mind the wind. It's a little bit cool today, so and why I say by a little bit cool, I think it's like 70 degrees, which for the Phoenix area, that's pretty cool. And I could feel the breeze. I get a lot of wind on my torso and my neck, but it's still not to the point where it's a big priority, so I'm just going to run this windshield for a little while. I do like the bark busters that I replaced the original handguards with. I like these a lot better, and they just look better to me personally. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now. Now, as far as another big thing that I really noticed on between this and the Versys was the position of the foot pegs on the FJ-09 are back a little bit farther. On the Versys, they were a little bit more forward. Now, as far as riding, it really doesn't matter to me. I mean, I've got about 500 miles on this versus 9,000 miles on the Versys. And, maybe a little bit more forward might be nice. But here, I don't know if I can catch this on the camera. The thing that I really noticed the most is right here where my leg is. On the Versys, when I stop and stand with my feet down, the pegs would dig right into my shin. And so I would have to always move around, But here, the peg is back out of the way, and so it really doesn't bother me. And so I don't know if the camera angle's gonna catch that, but see, that's where my leg is right there. And so it's totally cleared. And I did acquire a bruise one day. I put my leg down. I was in kind of a hurry, and the Versys kind of got me there that day. But that's really the only thing that I really noticed is about the differences in comfort. The handlebars are about the same. Now these I did adjust a little bit when I was doing some repairs. I moved the handlebars and they were back a little bit, so they were a little bit lower. So I tweaked them up, and so they're a little higher and just slightly, maybe by maybe half an inch. I don't know, maybe, but definitely less than an inch forward, because I don't feel like I'm leaning any more forward, but they are just slightly higher. The ignition switch, just like the Versys, is way down in front of the handlebars. And I suppose that the manufacturers put it there for security reasons, because it's a more secure place for the key, so it makes it harder to hotwire the bike. And it's kind of armored. It's got a lot of parts around it, so it would make it kind of difficult to do anything with the lock right there. So that really doesn't bother me. If you need to shut it off, just use a kill switch. And I do kind of like the all-in-one switch, the stop, run, start, all-in-one. What I've found with the modes, people say that the A mode is different and the B mode is less twitchy and everything. Now I rode over here today in the B mode because prior to getting on the road to come over here to the base, I was in the residential streets, and with a motorcycle there's always a little bit of twitchiness. I don't have a lot of motorcycle experience, but every bike that I've been on, there's always a little bit of twitchiness. I guess that's the right word. And I thought, well, maybe B mode would eliminate that. Well, to me, personally, this is just me, B mode does not feel really any different than standard mode. And I've not really ridden in A mode. Standard seems to have all the power I need. Don't really have any issues with that. But as far as just a long-term comfort, long rides, it's really not any difference between the Versys and this. Now, the thing that I did notice mostly on my last trip to Prescott was the fact on mountain grades and mountain roads and such, I find that I don't have to shift as often on this bike because it has a lot more low-end torque. And even on the way here today, I went through Residential Street to go by a friend's house and forgot to shift from second to first and went to take off, and I noticed it right away, but rather than shift back down to first and take off, I just went ahead and started off in second, and the bike didn't stall at all. It didn't go as quick as it would be as had it been in the correct gear. But I really like having the shift indicator. That's not an actual essential item, I don't think. But now that I have it, I really like it. I kind of wish that I would have, went to the expense and installed it on my Versys, because I would have enjoyed it a little bit more. Because I have got it wrong a couple of times, as have we all, I'm sure. It's a nice little freeway. Not a lot of traffic or nothing. This is a decreasing radius on-ramp. Go gentle right here. then it increases and decreases right at the end, like right there. You see all the skid marks where people went too fast. Not gonna happen to me today.